Hello and welcome to a special online edition of CBC News. We're bringing you the latest now on how COVID-19 is affecting Nova Scotia, and we begin with the latest number. 10 is the new number. The new positive cases of COVID-19 announced today, bringing the provincial total to 51. All of the cases are travel related or connected to previously known cases. The individuals range in age from under 10 years old to their mid-70s. For the latest on the provincial government response, let's bring in Shayna Luck. She's in our newsroom. Shayna with the latest.
Well, Tom, as you said, we saw 10 new cases today, but we also saw one person who recovered, and we saw a strengthening of the preparedness of the healthcare system. The testing capacity at the QE2 microbiology lab has doubled. We can now do 400 tests per day, where before they could only do 200 tests a day. Dr. Strang said, the next goal for the lab is to triple testing capacity or more. What this means is now public health is able to test all the close contacts of people who have confirmed COVID cases, even if they're not showing symptoms. They're also testing people in hospitals who have COVID-like symptoms but haven't traveled. 811 is being ramped up as well. 53 new workers have been added to take calls, and 40 new ones are in training. We know some of those people are nurses who have come out of retirement to help with the COVID-19 effort. I can tell you tonight that almost 80 nurses stepped up to get their licenses back. Their college told me they are getting calls daily from people who want to help. Doctors are doing the same. The College of Physicians and Surgeons has received calls from 39 recently retired doctors, and by the end of Thursday, 6 of them will have a new license. The rest will follow as soon as their practice insurance is in place. I can tell you now as well exactly which hospitals will have areas for treating COVID. They are the Halifax Infirmary, Dartmouth General, Yarmouth Regional, Cape Breton Regional, St. Martha's, the Colchester East Hants Health Centre, and the IWK. Now, this is all happening as there's still a lot of concern from people who don't feel safe going to work. Dr. Strang had a message for people and employers who are worried about self-isolation.
We have to understand employees and employers. The Health Protection Act order under my name trumps any workplace directives. So many places, if you have if you're a unionized environment or you have occupational health and safety, if you feel that if you are required to self-isolate and you feel your employer is not respecting that, bring that forward for those routes. If you have no other route, then contacting your local public health office, because that is a directive that my medical officers are operationalized under my name, and we will help you out.
And Tom, I should reiterate, the province says there is still no evidence of community spread.
All right, so some good news there. Shayna, thank you very much. Shayna Luck is in our newsroom this evening. Also, a stern warning today from the province's Chief Public Health Officer. Dr. Robert Strang says not everyone is being honest about their travel history while calling 911 for emergencies or going to the hospital for care.
It's unfortunate I have to say this, but it's important that you are truthful from the very beginning about your travel history. People will receive the care they need no matter what their health issue is. But if you do not tell the truth about travel history, we cannot be alerted about the potential for COVID-19. And you're quite frankly putting other people, especially our healthcare workers who are very vulnerable and working extremely hard, you're putting them at risk.
The company that publishes the Chronicle, Herald, and the Cape Breton Post is laying off 40% of its staff for 12 weeks. And it's blaming a lack of ad dollars due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Saltwire says it will stop publishing its weekly papers in order to focus on its dailies. It will publish only the 2 papers in Nova Scotia, along with the Charlottetown Guardian and the Telegram in St. John's. The company says it will provide medical benefits to staff during the temporary layoff. The company is calling this situation temporary. First Nations across Nova Scotia are also taking extra precautions. This is the first scene at Eskasoni First Nation, which has set up checkpoints at the entryways to the community. There is also a curfew in place from 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. Only residents of the community can leave or exit through the checkpoints for essential services. Those living outside of the community that work in Eskasoni are being issued an identification badge so they can get in. The Summer Olympic Games set for Japan have been postponed. The decision was made today amid concerns over the COVID-19 virus that has gripped countries around the world. Halifax gymnast Ellie Black is still trying to process the decision that was made to delay the Olympic Games by 1 year. Black says she was confident the Games would be pushed back. After undergoing surgery to her ankle after last season, Black was slowly working her way back to being ready to compete on the world's top stage at the Tokyo Games. Now she'll have to wait another year.
I think it's a bit of peace of mind to knowing that it was the right decision for the health and safety of everyone going through what we are right now. In a sense, this might be able to give me a little bit more time to take the rest and not have to rush it quite as fast.
Black has already competed in 2 Olympic Games in London and Rio. The 24-year-old won 5 medals at last year's Pan American Games in Peru. A joint Canadian and American ocean science mission has been scrubbed because of the coronavirus. Both countries were set to collaborate on a 3-week cruise this spring to measure ocean conditions off the East Coast. Canada had chartered the U.S. Navy research vessel Neil Armstrong to carry out the mission. The Americans were also providing scientists, sharing data, and paying for some of the ship time. The data is used to monitor climate change in the ocean. The trip was called off last week as a precaution to curb the spread of COVID-19. This pandemic is having a devastating effect on small businesses across the province. Many are closing their doors and laying off staff. But some are rethinking the way they operate. The CBC's Brett Ruskin has the story of one small business that's adjusting during these uncertain times.
All across the country, hundreds of businesses are finding new ways to keep the doors open under the COVID-19 pandemic. One of them is here in Halifax, Kitchen Door Catering. They used to specialize in catering and cooking classes, social gathering type events. I went to see how they're keeping this business running. It's a difficult time to be in the social gathering business.
Obviously, we're an event and catering business, and so social gatherings are kind of what we do.
Last month, they had 25 staff members. This month, 21 were laid off.
We have to change and shift, so you guys get out, get on EI, get what you can as a resource. We're going to try to keep this open and sustained, and so that you can all come back to jobs.
To keep it going, they've shifted to touchless delivery for people needing food.
And are self-isolating and are in need of food, and obviously want to take precautions, don't want to go to the grocery store because they've been told to self-isolate. And sometimes when you go to the store, some of the shelves have been empty, and so with us, we've been able to provide that new service to them. So you've emailed your order, we've called to confirm payment, or you've e-transferred, it's ready to go, they pull up, they pop their trunk, we take it out, we place it in their trunk, wish them well, and come back in. Thank you so much. You stay safe, be healthy. We'll see you again. Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Bye.
And so Patty Howard says that they went from 25 staff, laying off 21 of them, but they've since been able to hire back 3 of those staff members. She says they hope to hire back more in the weeks ahead. Brett Ruskin, CBC News, Halifax.
There are so many local businesses looking for ways to continue to stay afloat. Colleen Jones has a story of how a woman is trying to keep her establishment going and helping local bartenders at the same time.
The unusual silence has become the new usual on Barrington Street. Lacey Doherty owns Middle Spoon, a place known for their desserts and cocktails. Not exactly an essential service. So how do they survive these times? Well, it might be thanks to their Halifax famous cocktails.
The bartending community in Halifax is small and tight-knit, and they'll help each other out with anything.
For the last year, Middle Spoon has been a licensed bottler of Halley famous drinks. They've been able to sell their bottles now, delivering them right to your doorstep.
Got the correct licensing from the government and the NSLC, and we've slowly been kind of doing it in the background to see what it can turn into.
They hope that license to bottle cocktails might get them through the COVID-19 crisis, and they're looking to help now unemployed bartenders by bottling their cocktail recipes.
We're kind of doing it a little bit to help the community of the bartenders in Halifax. So we're getting them to submit some cocktail recipes that they have. We are going to bottle those cocktails here, and people can order them for delivery. And we're going to give $5 back to the bartenders that created the recipe.
Her other idea is called the Isolation I Love You cookie.
People are loving it. People are really surprised when we're delivering them. I'm delivering a few myself too, and people are quite excited to receive the package.
In these tough times, they hope the cookie just might take a small bite out of a big mess. Colleen Jones, CBC News, Halifax.
And that's it for us for now. We'll see you here next time. Thanks for watching and stay safe.